Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be explaining how to make a radar chart. So this radar chart is a representation of a multiple variants in a single chart in a visually pleasing manner so that it is very easy to understand and do it. So there are multiple advantages of this radar chart and how it can be plotted and what are the uses. So I'll go deep into the video and I'll start explaining. So let's take this one. So this radar chart is also called as a spider chart or a radical chart or a web chart. So when someone mentions you a radar chart or a spider chart or a radical chart, it's all everything the same. So this is one of the new methods of representing multiple variant data in a two-dimensional chart. So this helps you to compare the qualities and quantities of different variables at the same point on a single graph. And this is much better than the bar graph or a line graph or any other 2D representation that we have seen it already, the classical representation. So where are this radar chart currently used, or what is the most popular way to use it? So one, when they have a complex comparison, so when you have a different concepts or the products to explain, it can be pulled up in a single diagram using a radar chart, which is very useful. When you have a multiple variants and it has to be in a simple layout that can quickly be understood and displayed, this could be your choice. Second is the visualization of data related to many variables with multiple data sets or smoothly and seamlessly visualized. And then when you have to analyze different concepts, the value changes over the different parameters. So what is the time change? What is the performance change over the different period of time? Second, if you wanted to analyze the product market analysis, like the performance of the product in a market over a period of time or in a different times or comparing a different parameters, this can be useful. So the product analysis, this is one of the best graphs that they can use it. And they can also be used to evaluate the skill sets of different people. Like usually when an HR manager is using, they compare different skill sets of the team members, like the problem solving ability, communication skills, leadership ability, and then see multiple skills. So these can be compared and put it in a chart so that it can be done. You can also compare not just between two people, you can also compare between three people, four people, and multiple people. And this radar charts are very important because it gives very critical information to make real-time decisions. But in a business meet, this is a very important data set that you could present and simplify the values and then make the decision on the spot. So there are also the other uses, and then the real-time applications are these two. One is like comparing of skill analysis of different employees, like over a period of time, and then the performance of the product comparison, like how did the product perform over a period of time, what was the customer satisfaction, what was the revenue generated, and what was the timeline, and everything that can be done it. And if you take in research, like you can also plot multiple parameters, like what is the timeline took it to complete the project, what was the percentage of achievement it took, what is the man hours it has been used. So this radar chart is very useful. In this example, I'll give you two data sets where you can easily visualize. The one data set, it is like I have taken a few different popular brands of car. So where we have taken BMW, Bugatti, Porsche, Mercedes, and Lamborghini. And then these values are dummy values. And then I have just compared that, let's say like in from 0 to 60 miles per hour, how long the best cars of them performed. In case of BMW, I just put some values. So it took like 17 seconds, or it took some 10 seconds in 2004, and in 2014 it took some 13.5 seconds. In 2024 it took 17 seconds. So this is their improvement in their speed. So similarly, in case of Bugatti, there is only less improvement. This week we can see it, and then this can also be understood by seeing the table. But in case of Porsche, like maybe let's consider like there is a drop down. They were like behind of one second. So it is like that. I'm comparing the data for past 2 decades. In 2024, what is their performance? 10 years ago, what is their performance? And in 20 years ago, what is their performance? So now let me try to plot this in the form of a called as a line graph. And then let's see, I'm going here and then plot a line graph. When I plot a line graph, still I could see it. This is 2004 data where it is the gray line. If you have difficulty in seeing, I'll just make this, or yes, this is fine. So this is like the performance of BMW. It has got 10 seconds, and then the Bugatti in 2004 has got 14 seconds. So similarly, you can compare like this. Maybe you can also beautify this graph by going here, making it. So this is the beautified version of the graph. It can also be further beautified like this, but I'm not sure how beautification would help to improve the graph. But so this is the one. So different brands, and this is. Now let's go and plot the same graph in terms of bar graph or the column graph. So we can go here where you can choose the column or you can label it. And then, so I'm going to fix a column graph. So when I do a column graph, still I could compare it, different brands. So different brands, and then what is their performance over the period of time. So BMW, the performance increased. In case of Bugatti, it increased and decreased. In case of Porsche, it increased and decreased. Mercedes, it increased. Lamborghini, it increased and decreased. These are the variables. Now let's go and try to plot a radar graph on this. So when you plot a radar graph, or when you have this comparative table, always what I wanted to do is the major factor or the parameters in which it has to be compared should be in the x-axis. So where it doesn't have any long name, unit or comment, nothing. So it should be in the x-axis, and then the compare data, like what is the value of each parameter, should be in the y-axis, and the comment should be in the what is the variable in which you are measuring. Here the variable is the time. So the same parameter is compared between the different variables, like in the different time. So time is called as the variable because the same parameter is compared in the different time. So this is the parameters in the x-axis, and then the variables in the y-axis. So because this parameter is varied in different time. So now I'm going to select all these, and then when you come here, initially you will have to click on this arrow, and then you would find a different types of graphs. So in this you have to go to radar graph. You can also choose a different visualization tool and compare if it is very suitable for you. Like we can click a radar graph, and you could see this is the radar graph which we have got. And then to make it little more visually pleasing, so this is in the black and white. So to make this visually pleasing, what I am going to do is just pull it up a little bit. Yes, I'm going to fill the area, and then so double click on this line, any line, and then you would have independent and dependent. I'm going to keep it dependent, which means one changes will impact the all others also. Like the lines are 2, I'm okay with that. And then I have to go fill area under the curve, enabled, apply, okay. So now you could see that each area is compared between this one. So now I have this. When I click on the blue comes on top. Let's say like blue is 2014. So in 2014, I would see that the farther it is extended towards the end of the graph, the more smaller it is. I mean, the more better performance it is. So you can also click out and then see the overall graph. Maybe you could see that in 2024, Mercedes is outperforming. And then in case of 2014, we could see that Lamborghini is outperforming. And then in case of 2004, everybody was, worse than the 2014 because they improved it from 2004 to 2014. They improved it. So these are kind of an ideas you can get it. And I'm going to click on the pink color. I think it is inside, so I'm not able to click it. So this is the green graph, which is 2024. This is the blue graph in 2024. Let's say like I wanted to include one more car like Tesla. So now the graph would change. So they didn't have any values here. So I'm going to leave it as empty. I think in 2008 they were. So I would give it like they took some 30 seconds, and then okay, it is too much, so we'll give 20 seconds. And in 2024 they were like, let's say like 18 seconds, and then I'm going to plot again. I'm going to come here, and then plot radar. So now you could see that in the previous graph it was only 5, which is like a pentagon. And then similarly I'm going to double click on this, go to symbols, lines, fill area under the curve, enable, and apply, and okay. So now you could see that the number of variables changed when you change the parameters. So the shape of the graph is changed. So let's say like here it was like pentagon because I have these 5 variables, 5 parameters. In case of graph 9, I have 6 parameters, so I have got it. So I have the different shape of a graph. So this is quite difficult to understand when you have a line graph or a bar graph. So it is your choice if you still wanted to go and do it in a classical presentation of have a line graph or a bar graph. But I would say that this is way more a better presentation, and you can have an interactive slides over here. And then this is, suppose if I'm going to have only 4 parameters, let's say like I'm going to delete these rows. I have 4 parameters, and then again I'm going to compare it. I'll have only a square. Beautiful. So I can go here and then line, fill the area under. Yes, this is beautiful. That's it. You got it. And in case I have also made one more comparison data which will be entering. So let's say like I have let's say like we have 2 products in case of a mobile phone. One is from an Apple, the other is from Google. From Apple it is called as the latest version is the iPhone 16, and Google it is Pixel 9. So I have compared different parameters like the display, performance, camera, battery, audio, UX, user experience, user interface, everything. Now let's go and plot it out of 10. So 10 is the maximum mark. So 10 is the maximum mark. So I just have to keep it in mind. Let's say like we can give 9 to the Apple's display and 9 to the Google's display. Performance, I'll give 9.5 to Apple. I'm not partial. I'm just making little 8 to Google. Let's say like camera 8 is Google. I mean this one, and this is 9. And the battery, let's say like this is 7 and this is 8. Audio, let's say like 8. And UX, let's say like this is Apple is difficult to use as compared to Android. So I'll give 8.5. I'll give 8.5, and this I'll give 9.5. And user interface, I'll give 9, and here I'll give 9.5. So I'm not giving 10 because like there is always a scope of improvement. So it is up to 12. So now we have got two products, and these are the variables of the product. This is a different brand and this is a different brand. And these are the parameters which we are going to compare. So I'm repeating again, the parameters are going to be in the x-axis and then the variables are going to be in the y-axis. So you can put multiple any number of y columns. You don't have to worry about it. So let's say like, yes, I'm going to copy this, go to radar, paste it, and this is the graph. I don't know why it is not complete. So we'll go here, 9.5 pixel, and then there is graph 11. We don't have line here. Don't know. So I'm going to fill the area under the curve. Let's see. Yes, when we fill the area under the curve, we got the closed one. So now I'm going to just see what is the iPhone's performance. You could see that the display has got 9 points and 10 points is the maximum, like a spider web. And then this is the performance. It has got around 9.5. The camera, it is given as oh, how much did I give? I think it was lesser. And so when you see that the performance of iPhone is better than the Pixel, I mean, just I'm not comparing the product. We should just compare it visually like this, like on each parameter. So thus it is very easy to compare. It is not just you can just compare two data. You can also compare three data. Let's say like we have one more brand called as Samsung, and this could be S23. I think that is the latest version. Let's put some values like 9, 8, 6, 9, 8, 7, 8.5, 9.9, audio 9.9, I do not know. So let's say like 8, let's say like 8 again. And then we can also compare multiple data like radar graph. So, and then I'm going to fill the area under the curve. So on default, this area under the curve is not filled. I think you will have to do it. So this is the performance of different this one. You can also change the axis by clicking on this line, on the center line. You double click on the center line. There is a window popping up. So you can also give this from 0 to 10, maybe if you want, and then click apply. This changes. So this looks quite weird. Maybe I'll change it to 5 and then see how different it is. I think 5 is a good one. And if you do not want the minimum and major, you can also give it like 2 points. So here now we have it like 5, 5.5, this one. So now it will give like 5, 7, 9, something like that. So yes. So I can also give it as 1. When I give it as 1, it is like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, this is better. Like 1 is better. And then I can show the axis. These are the grid lines. This is visible. You see here I have unticked the grid line, and when I click apply, you would see that the lines connecting here are not visible. Suppose if it on default on your graph it is not visible, you can go here, show grid lines, apply. You could see here, and you can also have the minor grid lines if you have applied it, and then lines and tick mark. You can also change the color, like the tick marks, like the lines and tick marks. You can change to any color. Like you can give it red. These lines would change into red. If you could see it carefully, I'll give you white. You could see here. So let's give it a dark blue color, then fix it. So now grids. I just gave it gray color. If you want the grid lines to be in the different color, you can also give it. You could see that the color of the grid lines and the width of grid lines can be changed like this. You see this is the width of the grid line. So the beautification of the graph is up to you to how good you want it to beautify. So I'm using a dark mode. You can also view it in the light mode, something like this. So this is how you have to plot the radar graph, and it can be useful for comparing different parameters in a single graph. And I have found this useful, and it has been used in many places. And Origin provides you the version to plot a simple radar graph. If you have to use the other softwares also, it is okay, but most softwares would be like the similar ones, like the similar functions should be available in most of the softwares, which is alternative to Origin. And for this video, I'm using the latest version of Origin, which is like Origin 2024, and you can also use it. And this new version is better than the old versions. So maybe in the older versions, few changes would be there on the options of where to find this radar graph and how to plot all these. But I have used in the older versions also that the radar graph is available. If you face any difficulties, please do not hesitate to put a comment. I'll be really ready to help you out. And thank you for listening. Have a good day.